Well, hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. All right, I was planning on finish cutting the grass today, but I got a call from a friend of mine, and we ended up being on the phone for about an hour. Good conversation, but didn't get it done. I did manage to get back here where the old garden was and back behind the chicken pens. I have not done that side yet, toward the woods on that side, but I've got all that field back there that used to be garden cut, and I did manage to get around the raised bed garden and where I parked this side in the front yard done yesterday. So got a little bit. I did pick a watermelon, the one that the stem was completely brown on, and you see it's pretty red in the middle, but around the edges it just wasn't quite ripe yet. And unfortunately, from what I've read, watermelons don't continue to ripen after you pick them. So I let that stem be completely brown and dark for 5 days from the time I saw it first, brown, until I picked the watermelon. Maybe it needs to be 10 days. But, all right, let me get over here, see if I can get the camera to focus. Goodness. Come on. All right, hang on a second. All right, wipe my lens off, but it's still not focusing through there it is. So I've got that barnyard mix hen that just showed up here, and in here with Sue. It's been in here for, well, since last weekend, so a few days. And the baby chicks seem to be doing really well. Here's my issue with them. I want to take this box out and take the top of it off, make it smaller. It's just so big, but you see all 8 of them are there. They're doing well, but they're roosting here instead of up there. Every now and then I'll have 1 to 3 up on the roost over by Junior. But the 7 teenagers, half-grown ones, they haven't come to roost yet, which I just got off the mower. So there's no laying hens in this middle section, but more than likely, if my buddy makes it out here this weekend and gets some of these from this last pen, more than likely these larger ones will go in with the main flock on this last pen and see how that works out. But I'll go in there. I did pick a few scuplins or muscadines today, about a half a dozen. There's not a lot on the bush, but it is its first year. Ooh, something bite me on the back of my shoulder. All right. But as y'all can see, there's a few that haven't gotten up on the roost. I did collect the eggs. It's been so hot, and I think we're ending the peak laying season. Springtime's usually the best laying time, where I was getting, there were some days I got 28 eggs. I think I got a 29 day. I never did get a 30, but I was averaging over 24, more than 2 dozen a day for about a month and a half. And right now I'm getting anywhere from 12 to 16 a day. So I'm still getting over a dozen, but I've noticed some of the eggs are getting smaller. I think I need to get some of their eggshells crumbled up and put in their feed and boost their calcium a little bit. And if I remember when I'm at the feed store, I'll buy some crushed oyster shell and mix it in with their feed, maybe once a week, throw a scoop in there or something, and that'll boost their calcium level as well. Whew, I got a cramp on my chest. Y'all know I get a lot of cramps from that Rocky Mountain, but anyway, I was hoping it'd slack off. But So it's been doing well. I did finally get out yesterday. I'm gonna walk through here. I did finally get to the garden yesterday. The rain slacked up for a couple of days. It's supposed to be moving back in. I don't know. And picked pretty much all the rest of the tomatoes, and they're on the counter in the kitchen. The ones that had any bug problems, you know, where they ate part of it or dug into it or whatever, I just fed those to the chickens. So I lost about a third of them. Seemed like the larger ones were taken. And then I came out today and I was going to start pulling these plants. So I did actually break a lot of limbs off and throw it out and mulch it with the mower. But I was also looking for those tomato hornworms because they are still a problem. And I don't want to let them live to where they breed or however that works, turn into a moth, whatever. I don't know. And then have more problem next year. So I did pick about probably 6 or 8 today, and 4 of those were huge. They were bigger than my finger, and because I had not been out here since I picked all the tomatoes in last weekend and all, and been looking for them and getting them. So most of what I picked today were huge, and I'm sure there's more still here, but I've been, like I say, breaking off the limbs. Like right here, I'd break this limb off and check it really well and then throw it out in the yard to mulch up. So I'm sure there's quite a few more still in there, but I'll continue looking for those when I pull them. So I've still got 2 watermelons right there that are I don't know, 4 to 6 inches around. I've got another large one growing there. That one there will probably be the next one that's picked. And then there's another one right to the left of that brown pot. And there's another one growing over on this side. Look at the roses coming out after all this rain. It's loading back up. But it split. How about that? I need to take it. I'll probably pick it tomorrow and take it to the garden and give it to the chickens because they absolutely destroy it. In 5 minutes, there's nothing left but the rind. So, all right, and there's another one growing there. Looks like it, yep, it split too. So they'll get a lot of watermelon tomorrow. I will say they weren't 100% ripe, but what I have, you know, even though I picked them, the heart was still nice and red. So I ate part of that today, and it was very sweet. It's just wasn't quite ripe enough yet. So I've got a few squash growing. I picked one from here. The bugs beat me to and just destroyed it. There's another small one growing there, and then there's another one growing over here. And I've got some small ones growing down here. I'm hoping the bugs don't beat me to. The plants are just thriving from all that rain. So it's been a busy week. This grass just needs cutting terribly bad, but there ain't a whole lot I can do about it. I'm running out of daylight, and you know, sometimes life gets in the way. I may even try to burn one of these burn piles in the next week or so while we've got a lot of moisture to make sure it doesn't spread. But that's the plan. The honeybee hive looks like it's doing very well over there. I keep wasp spray because I can't stand those things, and I know there's a red wasp nest in there somewhere, either under or up in the grill because it's open, because I've seen wasps go in there a few times. So eventually I'm going to have to tackle that and spray those things and kill them. But I've got a stick floating in here, and of course grass trimmings blew in, but the purpose of that stick is to give the honeybee something to land on so they can drink water. They can't land on the water, they drown. And the plastic container, which in this case is a half a 55-gallon drum, is too slick for them to hang on to and get down to get the water. So I've got that board in there, and they actually I stood here earlier and watched 4 different honeybees come up and get on that board and get water and fly off. So if you've got a water container out and you've got bees, make sure you've got a way for those bees to get the water. They can't land on the water like some insects do. So, oh, they didn't eat all the tomatoes, but there was a bunch of worms. Let me turn this where y'all can see. There's a couple little bitty ones I picked when I was looking for the worms that I missed. But look at that watermelon, Brian. It is nothing but the shell. I mean, just a almost paper thin. They ate every bit of it. And I threw half in the main pen and half in this middle pen, let the babies have it. And then I picked up part of this one and threw it in there with Sue and his woman. So I'm sure they'll finish it off tomorrow. But either way, I wanted to do a video. I know I've been sparse on the videos here lately, but that's just because life getting in the way and all the rain we've had. I mean, I think we had 4 or 5 days in a row of rain, and most of the time it was either rained all day or it rained in the evening when I get home, so I couldn't get out and do anything. And as far as the weekend goes, my grandboy stayed last weekend with me, and it rained Friday evening, Friday night, all day Saturday night, and then Sunday. It didn't rain till Sunday evening, I think. So, at least not at my house. But there's houses or people that I know that only live, you know, as a crow flies 3 to 5 miles from me, that got 3 times the amount of rain that I got. So it's all right. I seem to be in that dry spot, but there's just so much yard work to do to try to get done. And you know, you work a 40-hour-a-week job, you say 45 hours because you've got an hour. We have an hour lunch break, so that's 45 hours a week that I'm at the shop. And of course I get there early, and you've got to get ready for work, and you come home. You know, most people don't realize you've got 50 plus hours tied up into your full-time job every week, and there's only so many hours in the day, or the evening I should say, that you can really get out and get anything done. So I'm doing my best, y'all. I know I could make more videos, but I'm not just gonna make one without a purpose of it. So usually I did weed eat around the house all the way around yesterday. I need to weed eat around this old building. I need to weed eat around the barn. I've cut all the way around the raised bed garden. So it's just always work to do. But guys, I appreciate y'all watching my videos, subscribing to the channel. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoy my content. I do appreciate it. I got a weed eat around Sparky's doghouse up there too, and the pump house over there. So a lot more left to do. I've got to have time, and the weather's got to cooperate. So I appreciate y'all once again. Remember what I've always told you: Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe, be prepared. Tell him bye, Sparky. Tell him bye, Sparky. Tell him bye, Sparky. He's such a good boy, y'all. He ain't the brightest light in the box, but he is a good boy. Never shows aggression toward anybody. Look at there. His claw got me. It'll be running down my arm in a minute. Y'all be safe.